Welcome to Look Around Florida.
Welcome to Look Around Florida. I'm your host, Sean McFall, aka the Florida Man. When you join the chat, just say hi, and where you live. We got Roy Hudson. He's in the behind the scenes right now. We'll be bringing him up shortly. We got a mess load of events coming up in the month of April. So as soon as we get a little bit more people joining chat saying hi, we're gonna get rocking and rolling. To keep me and Roy Hudson out of the doghouse, even though he's our AOT councilman. Uh, this way keeps us out of the doghouse. Disclaimer. There's Linda Hudson. Had a great weekend. Great weekend. Hopefully, some of you love the pictures that I put on Look Around Florida's Facebook page. It was about the Linden Cemetery Confederate Memorial that went up at the Linden Cemetery. Put on by that UDC chapter and uh, Joyce White. It was a great time. We had camps from all over the place there, uh, representing. Hey Heather, hey Jeffro, me all the way from Naples, Florida. That's where my camp's based out of. Went up there. Jeffro Kahn, Dave King, Butch Fox from the Tampa camp. Uh, we had Bobby Van Zandt, the camp commander for the St. Pete camp there. Hey, Victor, I hope you're doing well, buddy. Like I said, Commander Bobby Van Zandt from the St. Pete camp was there. Jerry Peacock. Uh, I think he's with the Oxford camp now. I could be wrong. He was there. We had the Massies there. Hey, Kim, good to see you, buddy. We had the Massies. Al and Sandy were there from the Jacob Sutherland camp in Kissimmee. So we had quite a bit of people there. From Bob Highball was there and some of his members. Bobby Glenn, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, sir. So we had quite a bit of members from all over Florida there at the Linden Cemetery Memorial. Good presentation. I tell you what, I learned something there. It took that UDC chapter. Jeffro, correct me if I'm not wrong, 2 to 3 years to get the money together for that memorial. It took them a while, but yeah, hopefully with this show, I can help out every camp within the Florida Division, UDC, and OCR. If they're doing a project, if you're doing a project like a memorial service, 5 to 8 years. Thanks, Jeffro. I couldn't remember all the details, but I know Jeffro was there to raise the money for that memorial, that monument. We have quite a, like I said, we're up to 11 people. So we got a lot of events coming up. Roy Hudson's in the background. He's going to be coming on here shortly, very shortly. So I want to get through the events that the various different camps have sent in. White Springs Flag Site fundraiser Saturday, April 5th, 2025 at 11 a.m. Lip smacking barbecue dinner by the Wachula Smoking Barbecue, located at White Springs, Florida, just off of I-75, exit 439 on State Road 136 behind the Farmers Market. hosted by the Captain Winston Stevens Camp and their Lusty Camp. These are good boys trying to keep that flag site looking beautiful uh, with flags. All right, please check them out. Help them out on April the 5th. Okay, yeah, that's something old. That's Jerry's. All right, we definitely have this event coming up April the 12th. Gainesville, chapter 2234, United Daughters of the Confederacy, Bushnell, Florida, and the General John Breckinridge, 1786, at the SCV, Oxford, Florida. Cagnola invites you to the memorial service of John Fraser Scrint. I'm going to butcher it, Jerry. I know it. Sumterville Cemetery, Sumterville, Florida, Saturday, April the 12th, 2025, at 11 a.m. If you have any questions or anything on this, is the email address and phone number for Joyce White. Or you can hit up me or Jerry Peacock. If Jerry's not in the chat yet, he will be. So, get back. I got sidetracked. I'm like a squirrel. You know, you say squirrel, I'm going to look. So, most of you know that. Saturday, April the 26th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Fort Ogden Cemetery, sponsored by SCV Camp 2181 Confederate Cavalry and the OCR Emily Pickett, Chapter 24. Light refreshments will be provided. Most of these events that I've talked about, if you have a uniform and a rifle, you're great. We'll put you to work. Like I said, we had a great turnout at Linden, hoping to repeat it for all the other ones throughout the state of Florida. Roy Hudson will be on here shortly to talk. Another event that's coming up is April the 27th, 2025, Confederate Memorial Day Remembrance Ceremony, Sunday, closest to 424. This is put on by the J.J. Dickerson Camp. Ceremony will start at 2 p.m. at Old Melbourne Cemetery. We'll meet and set up under the tree closest to the train tracks about 1:30 p.m. Please bring your lounge chairs to relax to enjoy the service under the shade tree. A local area map of location will be provided in the next. Yeah, further details will be announced as soon as I get them. If when Roy comes on, if he could touch base on that event, be great. So, with no further ado, please welcome our AOT councilman, Roy Hudson.
Hey, Sean.
Welcome, sir.
Howdy, howdy.
You and Linda are doing well.
We are indeed. We're back home after our trip to Tennessee, and thankfully it was pretty uneventful. So
this time,
always good to be back home.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, it was a very productive GEC meeting. A lot of things to talk about, and I don't know if you just want me to I've kind of created a little bullet list here for me to talk from because it was just too much to do from the top of my head. So if you'd like me to talk about these things, I'll go ahead and roll unless you have some questions.
Roll with it, buddy. I'll ask questions as they come up.
Okay. First thing we'll talk about was the 2025 reunion that's going to be in Houston, Texas. The report was from the folks in Texas that the registrations are kind of slow at this point, but the hotel rooms are selling out. And that's pretty typical, where a lot of times people call and get their hotel room, but they don't send the money in for their registration. So But things seem to be going pretty good. Like the people from Texas said, that the hotel rooms are going quickly. So if you're still trying to make your mind up on whether you're going to go or not, it's probably advisable to go ahead and get that hotel room reserved anyway, because the Marriott there has been busy taking our reservations. So we're looking forward to a grand time in Texas, and it's going to be well worth attending. I think there's just so much to do at a national reunion. You get to see people that you never see, or you only get to see every couple of years. So it's always a great time. So we're looking forward to that, and I think things are rolling along pretty normal there. The second thing we want to talk about is the billboard campaign that you've talked about on the show before with Tony Griffin, our Lieutenant Commander in Chief. In my opinion, I think it's going really well. Tony's report to us on the billboard campaign was, at this point, we have a definite, throughout the South, 35 billboards going up. And he still hadn't heard at that time for 3 states yet. So the chances are we're probably going to have at least 40 billboards throughout the South for that entire month of April. And that's pretty impressive. So I think this is all part of a better plan as far as getting name recognition, getting people to know who we are. And, Commander Kennedy spoke about this, and he says this is kind of the first step in his plan. Our numbers have fallen off in the last few years because of deaths and because we're not getting as many people recruited, and retention is an issue, and it's always an issue. And what we see frequently is people come in with a lot of enthusiasm. They get recruited, they get sent to a camp, they go to a camp that isn't very active, and they get discouraged and don't come back. And we're going to try to fix that. But nationally, we also want to make sure that when people talk about who do we talk to find out about the Southern point of view on things, they should be coming to us and not some historian from some woke university. So this billboard campaign, it may get us a few members, but more than that, it's going to get us recognition everywhere. And Mr. Kennedy's plan is, in the next 18 months, we're currently at 24,000 members, which is a long way down from 30,000 from a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And his plan is to get us to 35,000 members in the next 18 months. It's a bold plan, but I'm thinking that it can be done, because Southerners, once they learn not to be ashamed of their heritage from what they've been taught for the last bunch of years, want to get on board and want to know more. So we're hoping that's going to happen. So anyway, that's the billboard stuff. Randy Burbidge, the Army of Northern, from the Army of Northern Virginia, he brought up something that I think is important to all of us, because we've all heard this. You've been a member a long time, Sean. I have. What happens when you hear the word raffle? with the SCV? Oh, we can't do those. They'll put us in jail. They'll break our sword. They'll do this. They'll do that. So Burbidge brought to the GEC, says we need a defining answer on whether we can do raffles or not, because raffles are differently defined. If the IRS says we can do them, then why can't we do them? Or if the IRS says no, then we can't, without endangering our status. So they're working on obtaining a real answer for all of us in the SCV, an answer on raffles, because you and I both know there are camps that kind of do this in violation of what the standing order at this time. We've been told for years you can't do them, and then we've had other people says, well, we'll get the OCR to do them for us, and that's great too. But I'd love for us as an organization to get our final defined answer from headquarters on what we can do. So that's going to be working up, and we can thank Randy Burbidge for bringing that up.
That's a great idea. Thank you, Randy.
So he got on it for us. One of the things I ran on when I ran for AO2 councilman was the fact that we, as an organization, are not the best at communicating, and that we're not on top of technology. And I ran on that, and I took it to the table. I said, listen, I ran on this. I think it's important that we do something about this. And so Commander-in-Chief Kennedy, sometimes if you chase a car, you catch it, has put me in charge of the technology committee. So who he has named to the committee at this point is Jamie Griffin, who is the Army Northern Virginia commander, Harrison Dawes from Mississippi, Frank Powell, who's our editor-in-chief, and Eric Privetti, who is our membership person. And we're still working on the details on what all we're going to work on, but one of the things we need to work on is the actual communication from headquarters out, as far as making sure that our website needs a redesign. I mean, our website is terrible. It needs fixing. And we are, maybe since we have the loan paid down now, we may have the money to hire a professional to come in and do the website. So we're looking at website redesign. Also, another thing that we're looking at is what is the latest, greatest platforms that people are using. I mean, I'm a dinosaur. I'm on Facebook. I figured out how to get on here and talk to you, but I don't know what 20-year-olds are looking at. I don't. But I'm smart enough to know that we need to know that. So anyway, one of the things our community is going to look at is what is the latest, greatest platforms to get on, what it would cost for us to program one of these things to see that we can reach a wider audience. And that's what we really do. And if we can get this committee to come up with some solid results, I will have fulfilled one of the big things that I ran on, which was trying to improve these issues. So we've got a good group of people that have been named to the committee, and I've put out some emails and got some responses. I'm waiting for a few more to come back, and when that comes back, then I'll hold a Zoom meeting to get this thing kicked off properly and decide who's going to work on what issue. So anyway, our technology and communications hopefully will improve in the next year or so.
Sweet.
Yeah. Another thing that Tim Pilgrim approached me. Tim is the Georgia Division Commander, and he asked that he had a member that came to him and had an adopted son who wanted to get into the SCV. And if you read our Constitution, I think it's page 6, paragraph 3.1, it says that you have to be a descendant. It doesn't say blood, it says descendant. Now, I got a legal opinion from an attorney in Georgia who says once you adopt somebody, they become part of your descendancy. Mm-hmm. And I got a legal opinion from an SCV member who's also elder law specialist and estate specialist, and he said the same thing in Florida. So there was a lot of talk about around the table. Some people there, no, if they don't have the blood, we don't want them. I think we're trying to get membership. So anyway, I have a feeling sooner or later this is going to come up at a reunion, and there'll probably be a long, drawn-out fight on the floor over it because people are pretty set one way or the other over it. But what the GEC instructed me to do and Carl to do was to get back a hold of Tim Pilgrim and let him know that this is going to have to, if it's going to be changed. And I said it doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, I don't know if it needed to be a constitutional amendment. It could have been just a clarification, put in our standing orders. But they want to go with a constitutional amendment to clarify it. So with that being done, that's what we'll report it back to Commander Pilgrim, that it's going to have to be a constitutional amendment. So that's something we'll probably see in the future, and it's going to be pretty interesting. So that's that one.
Can I comment on that one,
Sure.
Roy?
Mm-hmm.
I can make a comment on that because I have two cousins that are adopted.
Right.
One of them helps me out with a family cemetery in Ohio. I would love to get them in.
I understand it, and the legal opinion says this. So unless, my argument is now we need clarification, because Correct. The way it's written now, you could take the legal version and say by law, yeah, they can come in, but the standing protocol, from what I've been told for years, is it must be blood. So they need to work that out. But again, I think we're an organization that wants membership and don't want to drive it away. So.
Correct.
Let me see what else I got. Nelson Winbush. Everybody, most all of us know Nelson and know what a fine Southern gentleman Nelson is. And most of us know that Nelson now is 96 years old. He's living in a nursing home up in Jacksonville. And I get reports that he's in various stages of decline. Nelson was a great warrior for our cause. And I talked to Chuck and at GEC. We talked before we came to GEC. And basically, one of the things that we've heard from people that have visited with Nelson is that one of his sons, anyway, doesn't want anything to do with the Southern stuff. And we don't know about the other son because he's got a son who's a lawyer, and that's the one I was talking about. He's got a son who's a preacher that I don't know about. But anyway, Nelson, besides having a bunch of stuff like he received the Robert E. Lee Award, he's got all type of SCV awards. He also has the flag that draped his grandfather's coffin, the Confederate flag that draped that soldier's coffin. Plus, he has a bunch of UCV reunion medals because he went to the UCV reunions with his granddaddy when he was a little boy. And Chuck and I, McMichael, we came up with this idea. If somebody could talk to his family and if they would be willing either to give us, if they don't want this stuff, if it's going to be thrown away when Nelson dies, give it to us and let's do a display at Elm Springs at the museum. And even if they didn't, if they would loan it to us, we would do a Nelson Winbush display at the museum. And that was overwhelmingly approved by the GEC. So at this point, I talked to Al Massey probably a couple, 3 weeks ago, and he is supposed to, I think, get a hold of Marshall Bruton. Marshall's pretty close with Nelson, and he's going to go up and talk to him and his family and see if they'd be willing to do either or. But I think that'd be a great accomplishment to get up there, especially if we could put up a display while Nelson was still alive.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. That's awesome right there.
Yeah. So, and it was funny because a lot of things don't go right through the GEC. Everybody was like, yes. So that we have the full support to get that done. So that's pretty exciting.
Cool.
Let me see what else we have. Okay. Now talking about something I'm excited about, really excited about, is the Forest Plaza. We have been working for several years now we've put Mr. and Mrs. Forrest in the ground at Elm Springs. Now we want to get that plaza up. It's quite an undertaking. It's more than I thought it was going to take because, first of all, some people know, some people don't, but the actual statue itself was damaged between Memphis and Elm Springs. I think something's wrong where the neck is twisted and is wrong, and there's, I think, a break in one of the arms or the sword. So there's a couple damage issues with the statue. So they've got a committee. It's the Forest Plaza Development Committee, and it's being chaired by past Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshears. And what Jason has said is every step of getting this thing built and rebacked, because they want to put it back to exactly the way it was in Memphis. And right now, I can't name everybody on that committee, but Jason is heading it, and two of Nathan Bedford Forrest's great-grandsons are on the committee. So that's pretty cool. So the first thing they're doing is Jason has reached out to contractors that work on these statues that can build these things and repair them. And he's waiting for them to come back with estimates. And then they'll be presented to the GEC. And the first thing is to get the statue absolutely fixed perfectly. And I can tell you, Commander-in-Chief Kennedy is on fire to get this thing done as quickly as possible as far as getting this plaza up. I think he would very much like to see it up in his tenure as Commander-in-Chief. So we're hoping that by our reunion in Texas, that the statue repair will be finished. So that will be a giant, giant step going forward. Also, some of the things that I didn't realize is I knew the platform there for the plaza was 50 by 75 feet, which is pretty darn big. And what they have to do is they have to bring an engineering firm in to pour a pad to put the plaza on. And in order to pour that pad, they have to do something. I'm not an engineer, but they have to design underground water dispersing stuff. So water doesn't gather under there, and it also pushes the water away from the graves. So that's a whole new study, a whole new bunch of engineers to have to come in and do that. Again, that'll be another step where it gets bids approved, and they're going after bids from SCV member contractors this time, which is great. If they have the license and the insurance and the technology, they're going to get the first shot at it. So pretty excited about that. So after they get that done, this thing has to be able to withstand by code a 3-story building, according to the code in Maury County. So whoever designs this, it has to come up to their code to withstand, to hold up a 3-story building before we even go to putting the plaza. And then we have to have somebody else come in to actually erect the plaza itself. So it's almost like 3 or 4 different engineering feats to get all this done. And everybody wants it done now. I mean, I'd love to see it up yesterday. Every time I go to Elm Springs, I kind of look over there and, before the good Lord takes me home, I sure want to see that thing standing. I want to be there when they dedicate that thing, because as you know, we've talked, I think one of the most moving things I've been to in my life was the reinterment of the general. It just took my heart right out of my chest. So anyway, Jason Boshears is heading that, and I'm sure, I know he's on here all the time. He's at his camp meeting tonight, but he's on here all the time. You can probably snag him to come on every now and then and give you an update, which would be kind of cool.
Well, he's coming. I believe he's coming on in a couple of weeks.
Yep. So, but he's the one ramrodding this, and everybody, the entire GC just wants this thing done. So it's moving in that direction.
Cool. Hey, Roy, if you don't mind, I would like to give a shout out to somebody's birthday today, Leon Arthur. He is watching on Facebook, so type in happy birthday in the chat, guys.
Happy birthday, Leon. Not every day you turn 27. Okay.
Go ahead, Roy.
Okay, we have
interrupting you.
No, not a problem. Everybody was excited that we paid the bank note off, and that was, just incredible. And everybody also knows that we still owe money to ourselves, to the Brooks Medical Fund, and it's actually much less now, because we've been able to pay on. I thought we were about $2 million a few months ago. We're at $980,000 we owe ourselves to the Brooks Fund.
Wow.
So we are going to continue to take some money, make monthly payments, plus put little extra pieces from different programs on there to try to get that paid off too. But we are paying ourselves 4% interest on the loan. So we are doing it, but it's under $1 million, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So, and the last thing that came up, for those of you that have been to Elm Springs, they know basically that we go through an industrial area to come into our property. And when we get in there, there's nothing but a couple of sawhorses and yellow cones up there, or orange cones, to stop you from driving into the property. We have needed a gate there for years. And we finally, GEC's approved the money to put in. It's an automated gate with cameras, so forth and so on. And what we're hoping this will enable us to do, I think the cost of the gate is $24,000. And once that gate is up, it is my understanding that they are probably, with the help of putting some other surveillance cameras and so forth around the property, they're probably going to be able to cut loose the security company that we have working there. And that is a couple $100,000 a year that we won't have to put out. So that's pretty significant, because they've been talking about a gate the last 4 or 5 years since I've been going to GEC meetings between my old job and my new job. they've been talking about this, and it's finally got to the point where they can afford to do it. So
Cool.
that's pretty cool, and just having the security there is going to be a lot better. And the fact is, with the technology that everybody has nowadays, I mean, you can go online and buy 5 cameras for your house for $200 or $300 or something nowadays, and watch it on your phone. So
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of the important stuff that came out of the GEC meeting, and like I said, I don't see any bad news here. Everything here seems to be, other than how many people we have in the organization at this point, and I think we're going to fix that. So I'm pretty excited. I think we've got a really good GEC. Everybody seems like they want to work together, and people are not shy about stepping up and saying something if they disagree or want to go in a different direction. So I'm very impressed with the board of elected folks at this time, and I think we're going to see a whole lot accomplished. I'm just came away from there feeling really good. You know how you can go to a meeting, state meeting or whatever, and you come away going, it wasn't so good, or we have this. Well, came away from there feeling pretty good about it, and I think all of us did. So it was a good GC meeting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Houston, and catching up with Carl Jones, the Kennedys, Mr. Boshiers, and the list goes on. People I don't normally get a chance to see on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's what the reunions are about. And I've got guys in my camp that have been in the camp for a long time, had never been to a reunion until a year ago or a year ago. One of them has never been a member for years, and finally went to a national and was blown away by, I'm going to Houston because they just had such a good time in Charleston, and you get to see a different view of the organization when you're looking at the global view instead of just in your camp type of thing. Because every camp runs business a little bit different. And when you get to see what it's like when and I always kid Linda and tell her, nothing gets my heart going better than hearing 500 men sing Dixie. So.
Yeah, because I always look forward myself, not only the national, but our division.
Yep. And again, the last time I talked to you, I don't know when the last time you talked to Bob, I think you saw him this past week about.
Yeah.
I talked to Bob pretty recently, and registrations seem to be coming in. The hotel, I heard the blocks filling up pretty quick at the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, according to what he was telling me Saturday, is the first 20 rooms that he got,
right,
sold
gone.
out. He had to get additional 20.
Mm-hmm. So that's a good sign. I think a lot of people that haven't gone since COVID, who want it more than what we could have with just a business meeting at Trenton. I think a lot of people are going to show up this year, and it's going to be kind of a rebirth for us, because having a real weekend event where we have Friday night to socialize and the business meeting all day Saturday and the nice event Saturday night. I mean, that's just going to be something we haven't been able to do for a while due to the circumstances. And Southerners like to get together and socialize, and again, the guys you see from other parts of the state that you only get a chance to see once or twice a year, maybe. So it's always good. Not to mention the before or after parties where we're sitting around having a little socialization and talk sessions. So we got there's a lot of stuff going on that April is kind of the giant month for the Confederacy anyways. It seems all over the country we're jammed up and busy, and I know your camp's doing stuff, and I saw what went on at Linden Cemetery, and I talked to you a little bit about it, talked to Dave King about it. It looks like it was really well done and a good turnout. I think something that we need to think about statewide is, you and I talked about a little bit, as we need to find some more people for our honor guards, for our rifle squad, and for the flag bearers and stuff. More people that want to participate in that. And there's just a lot of stuff that's going on in April. And you talked about my camp, JJ Dixon camp. We are having our Confederate Memorial Day service that we do every year, and it's going to be, I believe, on the
7th.
27th, yeah, at 2 p.m. at the Old Melbourne Cemetery. And I don't have the address off the top of my head, but if you Google it, it'll come up. It's right off of Harbor City Boulevard, which is US 1 in Melbourne. It's like a block over. Matter of fact, you turn off of Harbor City Boulevard going west. You cross over the railroad tracks, which is right there in Europe. In the cemetery is right on the other side of the railroad tracks. I know you've been there. You and Jeff came up a couple times for it.
Yes,
And,
sir.
so we're hoping for a good turnout. If the AOT count training that I'm supposed to do is canceled in Tennessee, then I will be definitely, we'll be there because I'll get home in time for that. If the AOT training's going, I won't get there in time. I won't make it because I won't get out till Sunday morning. So we'll see, but I'll keep you posted on that. I should know about that in the next couple of weeks if Linda and I are going to be there or not.
I found the address. It's East Hibiscus Boulevard, Melbourne, Florida.
Yep, you can't miss it. It's a big old cemetery. It's right across from the Melbourne Auditorium, and like I said, it's right over the train tracks there. Once you turn off US 1, so it's good. So anyway, that's pretty much what I've got to report, Sean.
That's, like I said, whatever you're able to talk about from the GEC meeting.
Well, actually, the GEC meeting this time, actually, there were no executive sessions. The executive session is the stuff we can't talk about.
Yeah.
We had no executive session business at this GEC meeting, which may be the first one that I've been to that hasn't had any. So
I was just going to ask you that if that was the first time.
Yeah. So actually, it means that we aren't having a whole lot of problems, I suppose, which is always good.
Or if we are, they're just not reaching up to the GEC.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. We can't talk about them if we don't know about them.
This is true.
But no, we're doing fine, and I think Florida is kicking butt. On the billboards, we were originally hoping to get one. We wound up with 3 at this point, which is really great, and they're on high traffic areas. I'm sure I-75 and I-10. So we'll get out there.
Yeah, you got to remember the one camp up there in the Panhandle that did the billboard thing and had success with it.
Right. So I want to ride up the street and see SCV with a picture of Robert E. Lee there. I can't wait to see that. I'm waiting for April. That's going to be exciting. And imagine, and I will be doing a lot of traveling because I'm going, like I said, to Missouri and Georgia and some other places in April. So I want to see these in different states. It's going to be cool because I think other states have done a good job of doing it individually, but I believe this is the first concerted effort to get the entire all Confederate states covered. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I know you're coming down to my camp. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll be down on yours on May 25th.
Yep.
Yours, I'm going up to the camp in Trenton there sometime in the next month or two. Got that. I got several on my calendar. So
yeah, we'll treat you right down here in the Glades.
Hey, I didn't mind meeting out there on the picnic table by the church, buddy. I'll go anywhere there's compatriots.
Yep. Yeah, we have a lot better place now, and one of our OCR members, Beth Bittenfield, that's in the chat, and one of our new members to the camp came up with the idea. I said, roll with it. Just report back to the camp. And they did, and we've been meeting there ever since, and we're having good turnouts.
Great. I look forward to seeing you in May, but I don't know if I'll see you in person before then or not. But
well, that's the thing about me, Roy. You know me better than anybody. I can pop up anywhere in the state.
That's true. You're kind of like me. I've been known to show up almost anywhere. So it's a good thing because we love this. We love our organization, and we just enjoy the fellowship. And we all have one thing in common. We have the same blood. We have Southern blood in us, and we're in this organization to honor those that went before us.
Yep.
And we all have different opinions on different stuff, but we all are here to honor those Confederate soldiers that paid such a dear price fighting for their independence.
Amen. Cameron, thank you for the invite. Kevin, welcome from the Tennessee division. We got Rodney Nichols in the chat, Beth Benfield, Dylan and Leon from the Arcadia camp in the chat. Al Massey, welcome. Sorry I didn't get all you. Thank you for joining the chat and everything. Cameron, as long as you do your meeting on a Saturday, I have no problem driving all the way up to Quincy. I don't know if you saw that, Roy. Me and you got invited to Quincy's meeting.
Now, I'm not seeing the scroll up on the setup like this. I see it when I watch normally, but not with.
Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know that. That way, if I get any comments, I can put it up on the screen. But yeah, Cameron, just give me details of your camp. As long as it's on a Saturday, I'll probably come up one weekend and join you guys. Oh, okay. Yeah, my camp, we usually meet on the second to the last Sunday of the month. So that might work out, Cameron. Just shoot me an email and I'll try to fit you in my schedule. Just like Roy, we're busy in the month of April. But that's cool.
Oh, always appreciate the invitation.
Yeah. Other than the monument of General Forrest and his graves and all that, how did the grounds there at Elm Springs look?
Oh, they do a great job of keeping them up, and of course we're in winter right now, so I guess there's not as much grass cutting. As a matter of fact, which I'm sure some people are grateful for, but Elm Springs has always kept up well. They're still in the process of doing some renovations in the house itself, in the Elm Springs house. They're going to take the wallpaper back to what it was in the mid 1800s and stuff like that. So they've been working pretty hard on getting all of that done, but that's a slow process over time. But the grounds themselves look great. I was up there on Friday night. We met and had some supper at the Elm Springs at the meeting building behind Elm Springs, which I guess in the olden days was the kitchen.
Yeah.
So got in the house then. Everything looks pretty good. And of course, the GEC meeting's held in the library in the museum. So everything's looking good. And they finally got some additional help to help. For a while they were down to like 3 employees. So they got a couple of part-timers helping Mr. Pravetti now. So that's going to.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad to hear Pravetti got some help.
He did. So besides that,
we do have a question that came up.
Finally redo the great room downstairs. Okay, are you speaking in the house in Elm Springs itself? If so, they are in the process. That's one I was talking about, where they're going to take the wallpaper back to. They have to. It's really hard to find. You have to. I don't know. I can't remember whether they're going out of the country for it or whatever. But there's a pattern they found under layers and layers and layers, and they are still working on getting that done. But they are redoing that. That is. I don't know how long it's going to be to get that finished, but they are in fact working on that.
Here's a question: do they still make wallpaper?
Apparently, they do.
I thought it was all drywall, mud, and paint these days.
Yeah. Apparently, finding 150-year-old wallpaper patterns produced is not as easy as one might think. So they've taken a while to find it, but apparently they've found something that is period correct. So.
Okay, that's cool. That's good to know.
Yeah.
My brain went dead. It happens from time to time. I get a brain fart, brain freeze, whatever you want to call it. So what's going? Other than the memorial service, what's your camp been up to lately?
That's the big thing now. And of course, we're recovering from the Lee Jackson and trying to get. I had to work on the contract for the hotel and stuff for next year. Got all that out of the way.
Cool.
We just we've had a problem. One guy we've been trying to get his membership done since last May, and it's been a bear. And he's been turned back by headquarters for we don't know why, but anyway, we finally got his approved. So we're all dancing about that because, well, you were at the Lee Jackson. He's the one that came in, had a table full of guys there. He's just been elected as a city councilman.
Oh yeah.
Palm Bay. Well, we just got his membership squared away. So.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're pretty excited about that. And of course, we have a young board of officers. In some ways, our commander. Our commander of our camp basically is his first time he was our treasurer, but he's learning a whole lot of stuff being a commander that he didn't know before. And we have a new first lieutenant commander, a new second lieutenant commander. And I just told him, make me the aide de camp and I'll help all of you with whatever you need. And that's kind of what I'm doing. But
yeah.
So we have a relatively new board that we're working with, but we're still doing, we still maintain a little cemetery called Sharp Cemetery up in northern Brevard County. And there's a lot of stuff that we do on a regular basis. And then again, Chuck, who is our Westrip, who's our commander, he kind of wanted to take a little mechanized cavalry out. He usually put together one for every fall, as most people know. And I said, well, why don't we just take a ride with the guys in the camp? And we came up, okay, we'll ride with the guys. There's 5 of us or whatever that ride at camp. And then I said, well, I'll just let Dave King, Ronnie Nichols know that we're going to do this. The next thing I know, looks like we're going to have a few people show up. So April 12th, we're taking a little 120-mile ride. We're going to meet in the morning at 9 o'clock. It's Malabar Road, it's exit 173 on 95. As soon as you get off the exit, there's a Shell station. We're going to meet there, leave at 9 o'clock in the morning, take a long ride, and wind up in Fellsmere and have lunch at Marsh Landing in Fellsmere.
Cool.
And then end up back in Palm Bay again to cut them all loose. So that's kind of what we got going on.
Yeah, Ronnie just commented, Marty, myself, and Jimmy are looking forward to coming down for the ride.
Looking forward to seeing them. All great people.
That's cool. Other than the ride here in Florida, is anything else going on with the mechanized cavalry you able to comment on?
Well, just the stuff that you already know about, John. We're sponsoring this year. Florida 3D is sponsoring the National Mechanized Cavalry Reunion, and that'll be in June.
Yep.
And over in Tavares, which a lot of you know what Tavares is from the Rifles and Rails days, but so we're looking forward to that. We'll have mechanized cavalry people from all over the country coming in for that, and yep. And there's the registration form, and Ronnie Nichols him and David have worked really hard on this, and Ronnie's been on top of it, and I'm looking forward to a first-class event in Florida. And,
yep.
We haven't had one here for a few years, so it's our turn.
Yeah, because Bobby Grenier, Ronnie Nichols, David King, and Bobby Grenier. Bob Grenier has been joining the chat lately. So
yeah, I saw him last week, and we all like Yankee Bob around. He's the best.
Yep.
We take 100 of him. I love Bobby Grenier.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Him and his wife, they're good people.
Yep. So anyway, that's the only other thing I could think of mechanized cavalry, because it's not until we don't have our annual meeting until November.
Correct.
So we'll talk about that closer to November, I'm sure. But that'll be, an election year for us and so forth. So it's going to be a pretty neat event. And we're going to be back out at the Great Hammock Fish Camp in Lake Wales. So that'll be pretty interesting. We had a good time there last year. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, the fish camp was a blast.
Yeah, we're going to do that, and I think some more people are going to bring their spouses, and it should be a good time.
Yeah, looking forward to it. That's in November.
Yep.
So when we get close to November, I either get with you, David, or
All right.
Roddy to see who wants to come on and talk about it.
Yep. Well, I'm just a lowly sergeant. You got a lieutenant and a captain there. They'll be glad to talk to you on that.
Yeah, I'm down at the bottom.
Yeah. So, well, after November, I might be down at the bottom too. So we'll see. It's fine with me. I don't care.
Yep.
You know, it's just a great group of people having a good time.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing about the mechanized cavalry. You don't have to have a motorcycle. Motorcycle is preferred, so you can go on these rides and that. But like me, I'm dismounted. But Roy can
We have a lot
testify.
of dismounted members. They just want to come out and socialize and help support the mechanized cavalry activities. And we do a whole lot for the SCV. So,
Yep. And just like our captain says right now, we're SCV first.
yep, always.
Yep. All right, guys. Does well, we have our AOT councilman. Does anybody have any questions? Jerry, we were just talking about Linden Cemetery. That was a blast. Yeah, guys, feel free to ask questions. You know, Roy just came back from the GEC meeting. He knows a lot more what's going on than I do.
I just told you what was going on.
Feel free to ask questions. Roy's not shy. So, yeah, I'm going to try to get to you as many events that I can in April. April's going to be a busy month for all of us.
Oh, yeah. Crazy busy.
Lee Jackson and Cocoa Beach next year. That's just Jeff Rowe. Hey, Bobby Van Zandt, we were talking about you a little bit ago.
If Jeff was talking, I can't see what you're saying, but he's talking about, I guess we have that's our Lee Jackson next year. We've already got the hotel set again, and Jeff Rowe and Dave are going to bring the Confederate Memorial Wall, which we're going to have set up there. And of course, people can, if they want to stay afterwards and party a little bit, it's at the Holiday Inn, so you can get a room right there, and it's a lot easier getting up in the morning to go than trying to leave after the event is. So we're looking forward to it.
Speaking of Cocoa Beach, I do have a question, and I know you've commented on this to me personally.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, that was Linda. Are you still thinking about expanding the room?
At this point, we're going to see. We voted our E board kind of said we want to try to see this year. The room can hold, I think, 75. We had about 60 people there last year, so we're going to see if we can get it up to 70. If we can hit 70, then the following year we may have to try to expand again. Because if we expand again, you're doubling the cost of putting the event on. So if we don't get enough people, then it's a loser. And we're trying to be fiscally responsible financially, as far just trying not to overextend ourselves. We've been the cheapest game. We've been the cheapest Lee Jackson on anywhere around, and we're probably going to have to go up a few bucks this year, because $45 is not even meeting what we owe the Holiday Inn. If it weren't for the auctions and some donations from camp members, it wouldn't be good. So, but no, I think we're going to stick with the size we had this year. We're going to do a rearranging of the interior, because we want to get that wall in there, and that's going to take up probably one full wall, one full section. So,
yeah.
And there's a couple things that we're going to do a little bit differently. we sit down and look at these events and tear them apart. What do we do good? What do we do bad? And there are some things that we all goofed up on that we'll improve on. And that's the same. I'm an old SWAT guy, and what we used to do after every operation is sit down and you didn't do this right. You should have done that. We could have done this better, and that's what we kind of do with these things. So we're trying to be a little bit better every year.
Are you able to comment who you're thinking about getting for a guest speaker for that event?
I can tell you that we're going to have Past Commander and Chief Jason Boshears.
Sweet. I'm definitely covering that one because the last time he came down, I missed it.
Oh, and Jason, he's like a Southern Baptist minister. He gets out in that audience, and he's a great speaker. I love listening to him. If you ever get a chance to listen to him about Sam Davis, he does the best presentation I've ever heard anywhere on Sam Davis.
Ooh.
Phenomenal.
That's good to know.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. Well, no questions had popped up for Roy Hudson. It is getting close to that time this evening.
Yep.
I want to thank all you for taking time out today on joining us. Please share these episodes out. Remember, I know a lot of our members are not on Facebook. I do stream to YouTube as well. So you're able to share that out with your camp members in your camp emails, please. That's just like Roy Hudson said, we got to work on communicating with our members a lot better.
Well, Sean, thank you for having me, and thank everyone who tuned in for me, since I don't have the buttons to push to do that, but I appreciate the attention, and I hope you got some good information.
I appreciate it, Roy, and from everybody in the chat, they're all saying thank you.
Thank you.
In honor of Nelson Webbush's, you said it's his birthday, right?
No, I didn't say it was his birthday. I just said he was 96 years old. He just had a birthday, I think, last month.
Yeah.
He's 96.
Well, in honor of Nelson Webbush, we're going to end the show with the Faces of the SCV on Nelson Webbush.
Okay. Good night.
My name is Nelson W. Winbush. I'm a member of the Jacob Sumner Camp 1516, Sons of Confederate Veterans. My reason for joining the Sons of Confederate Veterans, after the NAACP declared they would destroy and remove everything Confederate in 1990, I decided that I would do all I could to make sure that people understood what the Confederacy stood for.
He's going to talk to me after this.
Have a good night, everybody, and stay Southern. May God bless you on your adventures this week. And if you're feeling down, please check out Psalms 23. Till next Tuesday, have a good night, and may God be with you.
Good night, sir.